Hey guys, Monday, November 4th, 2024. Let's see what the Black Widow wants to do today. Let's go straight. This is my market profile. You guys know, you guys been following me for a while. You know my system. I always look at what volume is and where are the point of control. You can see that this is the point of control. What's that? Now that we're back to my charts that I love, is around 260-ish. You can say 260-ish. Yep. It's pretty much 258 to 60ish. I got, two market profiles, TPO and market profile right here, and we're smack in the middle. I used to hear this broadcast of the pits, and there was one guy there that used to say, "Don't fiddle in the middle," and this is the middle of the zone. So the Black Widow is there, and the question you might have is, are we going up, or are we going down, or are we going sideways? We look at our daily chart using a 3-month window. You can see that the value area high is pretty much around 263, 260, pretty much 263. And we gapped down, or at least, opened or pushed lower, and now trying to regain, fill the gap, it looks like, right? The high was 251.6 and the low is 251.4. So it's official. We fill the gap with today's price action and then bounce. So I guess it's either traders doing that or algorithms that are set for, like, because this is easy. It's easy to set this up where the algorithm looks for a gap, and once it fills the gap, they just buy it. Just to see, that's a speculative trade. And that's what we just had today. Let's put our trend lines to see if there's anything interesting there. And you can see so far, if we were to, I only got 3 months. So yeah, you can see that this trend line, we've been having a tough time. We change of contract, hit here, and then pulled back, broke through this one. There's going to be a lot of support down here if this is a failed high here at that 263-ish. And you got point of controls right here and this green trend line going across. Let's look at our simple glance. Looking at the monthly, let's look at the big picture. So far, we're bouncing off the 20 SMA. MACD is still positive. Trying to stay above the 262, which is the top of the MOBO. But you can see that there's a little weakness kicking in because the candles are still white. The trend is up, but the body candles are full. And that means, doesn't mean anything. And Hakanashi will give me more clues. Yeah, so the trend is still up. In regards to the monthly, but still kind of hovering here, having a tough time there. Let's look at our weekly. And you are, what level is this? This is a good level, 258. This is a strong level on the weekly chart. And you can see that we just turned bullish in the cloud. MACD is kind of really choppy right here. It's negative, but it's above the zero line. And we're like borderline trying to get back in the cloud, but trying to stay above the cloud too. And you can see there's a point of control right here, which matches 259. Good news is that linear regression channels are kind of slanted higher, looking up. So could maybe, grind sideways to higher. That's the way the linear regression channels are pointing. Looking at the daily, the same thing. Change of contract, PPS sell signal, but in the MOBO, and kind of finding support at the 20 SMA. There is the 50. You got the 200 all the way down here, but the MACD has just crossed over, and it'll be official once tomorrow starts if it stays with the negative arrow. Above the cloud, so in the short time frame, you're still, somewhat bullish. And that's because of the anomaly of the change of contract. But if we ever crack below 245, there's a high probability that we might get down to 221 around 217, this area right here. And if it continues, 198 is the value area low. So let's see if we could hold this cloud and the 50 and not have this little dead cat bounce and continue pushing lower and cracking. And then eventually, you know, January, December, February, see what happens there. Let's go straight to our geometry. As you can see, the Andrews pitchfork from here, I put it here now. I want to see how strong will it hold this angle. So now this is a testing phase to see how good this angle is going to work. It's pierced it here. It pierced it here a couple of days. I want to see if this would hold. So this is a test that I'm watching. Also using our Gann grid, using the 3.5 high from the February 20 low, 152, you can see that we're at the 1/3 and it's also resistance. This was resistance, the 1/2, resistance at the 1/3. This would be support down here. And if you watched my video yesterday about the seasonality dates to put on your radar, if I was to put these cycles here, which are static, these don't move, these are positioned and they just stay there. You see November 4th, you see November, I guess, 7, you can say the 8th. There's a cluster of cycles here, and then this turns here. So be interesting to see how that's gonna play out. Let's see, anything else? Anything interesting? Anything interesting? I think trend line, yeah. So you can see from the October 27 high, we're having a tough time there. Anything else? Measures moves down. This is interesting. We just hit one here, not a measured move, but regards to time, this was like one of the earlier ones when I got this peak. Let's go straight to the midpoint chart. This is the way this video is too long, so let's kind of recap. So this is the weekly chart with the monthly pivots. So far, this is your, you can say your 25% level, which is 254. Let's see if that's going to hold. We're at 261 right here. So bigger level. If this doesn't hold, on the yearly pivots, 225, and if it's going to go higher, yearly pivot will be 286. So far, mobiles are just chopped. They're just kind of going sideways with, you know, you kind of say maybe a triangular pattern being set up, and that gas is going to either break to the upside or to the downside or continue until it can't no more and then decide to do her move. On the monthly pivots using the daily chart, you can see that the midpoint for the whole month of November is 261. So this is a key level, and we're around 260. And in today's candle, which is the daily, it wants to try to stay above 261. So if we can stay above 261 this week, next week, this whole month, rest assured the chances are it's either sideways or lower. You can see that there's support here around that you can say 251, and that's where we found support. So let's see if we could hold 251 and close above 260, and you have a target to the upside. Baby steps first, 271. Now getting a little more fractal using the weekly pivots on the 4-hour chart. This is the line in the sand for this whole week. You got to stay above 259. So you can see that there's a theme going on here with the market profile, with the midpoints, and also some of the geometry and everything I've been showing you. There is a big cluster right here around 259, 260, 261. There's a lot of things lining up. Like that's your 25% is lining up there. You got your monthly midpoint pivot, and you got your weekly all kind of clustered in. So this is going to be a very important area to decide who's in control. The bulls or the bears are both going at it, which would be chop sideways. So far it's above it. Let's see if we could hold this whole month above 259, 260-ish. You can see that the mobiles are kind of, you can say, waking up a little bit, but nothing really. It's like a snapback. It looks like maybe it could potentially go down. We'll see. And lastly, the 1 hour. And we snapped all the way down here. We're below the 200 moving average. And if we were to open this up, the line in the sand for today only will be 267. And so far, we're having a tough time on Friday's low, which is 263. Failing here, I mean, it could pop and maybe, just maybe get to 267. Extreme will probably be all the way to 277, but you got the 200 coming in there. But let's see if we can at least close above 200, the midpoint, which is 267. If it can't, chances are we'll go, come back down, and then in the overnight, maybe push even lower. I'm going to sign out. Hope you like this video, and I'll keep you posted on my thoughts on nat gas.